Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back for you with another new chapter of the Gundam Above All. Yeah, that's right, guys. I'm releasing another chapter for this series. Sorry, honestly, like I said, I want to at least get chapter 1 out. Given that, I kind of felt pretty high with the last chapter, explaining the origin story of Evan after all. So I want to at least get chapter 1 out of the way and then get the chapters for my other, worm fic out of the way too. And I can get back to straight to business like before. So yeah, just hold out a little bit longer, guys. In the prologue chapters, Evan Chambers, our main protagonist, basically a guy that's kind of just going with the flow and the motions of the world. Basically a guy that feels like the world is just, that he can't control anything about the world. That things just happen and yet he can't do anything about it. Like, for example, his parents not letting him leave Brockton to go to Boston for college. Many of his friends becoming gang members. And the city that he lives in basically becoming nothing but a criminal cesspool, as he just can't do anything else about it. However, that all changed and basically became even worse. For example, losing his father to that of a cape battle between the PRT and the Empire 88, as one of the battle's collateral basically killed his father, who was a PRT agent as well, protecting him and one of his old friends, which soon led to that of Evan hating the world even more, hating that of the Empire, hating that of the PRT, hating the very city that he lives in, and hating the world even more as well. With soon a cosmic entity different from that of Scion gives Evan his own powers, as he did trigger, but not in the usual way, as he gave him a system that allows him to gain the parts of Gundams all across the multiverse, as this would be the start of Earth-Bed's strongest capes, destroying the old world order and starting anew. So with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Chapter 1, Fly Next Gundam. It's been that of 5 months since his father's funeral, and ever since then, both him and his mother have been grieving in their own ways. With his mother, Penelope Chambers, throwing herself at work actually. Heck, instead of being that of an online therapist like she always has been for the past 10 years, ever since Evan was a child actually, she decided to work not just from home, but from time to time, work at Brockton Bay's mental hospital, as there is a general hospital mainly for anybody that needs injuries, and the mental hospital for that of mental patients. However, people can stay at the hospital while some just go for that of checkup appointments. They do speak from time to time and ask how he's doing and how his classes are going, as he says that they're doing well and he should be done in the next year or so. Hearing that, she's glad that his schooling's still going well, even with the tragedy of losing her husband and his father. However, there are other things that she's also not telling her son as well, but decides to just keep it to her, but decides not to tell him, at least not yet. As for Evan, ever since gaining his new powers in the Gundam system, let's just say gaining parts and using them are two complete, and basically being able to build them are two completely different things. For example, he has to buy the parts. He can't just make them or anything like that. Hell, he expected with this system he should be able to be that of a tinker and being able to build Gundams. He's a tinker after all, being able to build whatever he wants when he wants after all. Unfortunately, the system doesn't work like that. He has to buy the kits and basically the parts for the Gundams after all. He was given at least that of a startup Gundam, to be honest. However, just like it would be in Pokemon, he can only choose that of 3 startup Gundams. The first one being the original granddaddy Gundam of them all, the XR-71 Gundam. The second choice is that of the Strike Gundam. However, it has none of the striker packs with it, just the regular Strike Gundam with just only that of the armor swords, basically the twin knives, and only that of the beam rifle too. Other than that, no striker packs, so basically no L pack, launcher pack, or sword pack. Hell, not even any of the other packs, such as that of the lightning pack too, and gun barrel pack. If Evan wants to basically use those, he's gonna have to buy them he's gonna have to buy the kits as well. However, the last one is surprisingly Gundam Barbatos, as Evan is completely shocked about the 2 other Gundams. The first Gundam, not so much. There's a lot more detail added onto it than the original anime, the original late 70s anime counterparts, which didn't have much about it. And yeah, the Gundam Origins movie, which basically was a retelling of the original Gundam series, but with that of updated graphics and everything, never came out. It did come out. It never came out to the West though, so Western fans never got to experience the animation, got to experience the movie. But Evan didn't know what it looked like thanks to his dad and his PRT connections. Hell, he was tempted to even use that of using that of the original Gundam as his first pick. But then he realized that it's because of his father that he was even able to get into Gundam in the first place. And sure, using the RX-71 would be that of a memento to him. But honestly, that's not what he wants. He doesn't want to forget his father, and he doesn't want to forget everything he did for him, even saving his life. But he needs to move past his trauma. If he lets his trauma and how he gained this system basically control him, then his powers basically go out of control, and he'll be susceptible to that of thinkers and even that of other, capes as well, to take advantage of him. So instead, he needs to move past that. He may not know anything about Gundam Seed or that of, Iron Blood Orphans, but seeing that of the Barbatos, then maybe, just maybe, this may be the right choice for him. As he decides to choose the Gundam Barbatos for his first Gunpla suit. Selecting the suit, it basically, creates that of a life human-sized suit of the Barbatos. At least that of, 2 more feet taller than that of Evan, who is basically 5'9". And the Barbatos basically stands over that of 6 feet 2. But however, he can't just begin making and creating that of Gunplas right in his house, especially in his apartment after all. His mom would get suspicious. So, there's only one thing he can do. Find a place where he can do so. He lives on basically the borders between that of the PRT and that of the Empire. Good thing that the Empire doesn't know not to basically screw with that of the PRT, at least when it doesn't come to them basically losing their capes. Mentioning this basically causes Evan to become a little bit more anxious and angry, but decides to just put it aside for now, as he goes to that of a nearby abandoned warehouse, nearing that of the boardwalk actually. Sure, the boardwalk is in that of PRT territory, and it's well kept due to all the tourist attractions and even that of, the PRT doing that of, renovations around the place as well, thanks to the protectorate money, of course. But even so, there are some places that they can't really, get to all the time, such as basically an abandoned garage down below, right under that of the boardwalk, and right next to the beach as well. Personally, it's still basically around public areas, but it's somewhere so away that you wouldn't even expect that a newly caped tinker was basically working here, basically working right under the PRT's noses. with it. Seeing that of the perfectly sized garage right under the boardwalk, and barely any tourists or any locals basically come around, this is the perfect place for him. Sure, it's a dump, and it basically has at least some infestation here and there, but nothing that he can't handle after all. While basically cleaning up his new base, which was easier said than done, but still taken care of pretty all the same, having that at least a good sizable space now. Now the only problem is that he doesn't plan on just stopping with only making one or maybe two or three Gunpla suits. No, he wants to make as many as he can. Make so many strong Gunplas that nobody can stand against him. Not the PRT, not the Empire, not the ABB, not the damn merchants, not even Coil. And even if there are more gangs coming, or more villains or capes coming to that of Brockton Bay, or even if the heroes basically bring in people to basically take him down, it wouldn't stop him. He'll make more and more Gunpla suits that will basically put everybody in their place. He'll destroy the current world order, and all will be in his name. The world will be ruled by Evan Chambers. No, not Evan Chambers. As Evan speaks up within saying, the world will be ruled by Gundam. As the long, black-haired, green-eyed Caucasian young man couldn't help but smirk. Before, then soon, his green eyes began to glow. As his first appearance in that of Brockton Bay, the first people to take down for that of Evan, he started to take down that of the merchants. The only reason on why the merchants aren't really much of a freaking problem for Brockton Bay. They're basically nothing but a bunch of drunked up drug dealers that think that they're all hot shit. The only problem is they have their own capes as well. Around that of 5 to 6 capes. However, only one of their capes is basically important to them. Even their leader is basically a piece of shit, given that he's not really much of a cape as well. The cape that Evan's talking about is, Squealer. One hell of a tinker, to be honest. And other things, too. Without her, the merchants would basically be nothing. Hell, even with their other capes, such as that of Trainwreck, Mush, and Whirligig, don't even compare to somebody like her. Not only that, the gang is based, unlike that of the ABB or the Empire, two gangs that are basically, just as big. However, their leaders, on the other hand, such as that of Lung, the leader of the ABB, and Kaiser, leader of the Empire, have their methods on basically keeping their gang in order. Lung through fear due to his, surprisingly overpowered powers after all. Kaiser, I don't really know much about the guy. He's skilled in combat. He's basically what Menja's powers have on fucking crack. But I hear it's mainly because of his goddamn speeches and voice. He knows how to basically rally people under him after all. I bet Hitler would be proud. The merchants, on the other hand, they're like fucking cockroaches. Kill one and 2 more will pop up. Kill 2, 5 more will pop up. And they're basically all nothing but drug addicts after all. They deal in a bit of prostitution here and there as well. But other than that, they're basically unkillable unless you take out the head, which is again the capes. So my thought was go to that of merchant territory, find a few grunts, drug dealers here and there, pimps here and there, and appropriate them of their cash, their drugs, and their lives. Oh yeah, you heard me right. I said their lives. Arriving at that of merchant territory, on the edge of merchant territory, on that of a somewhat shabby and pretty downright building, with that and that of the armor of the Barbatos, as that of the green eyes of the Barbatos begin to shine, and in that of Evan's right hand, wielding that of the Barbatos mace as well, the iconic weapon of the Barbatos, Gundam. With Evan looking around the streets, can help but say, man, and now I understand why both Dad and Mom never told me to come down this place. Look at this place. It looks like an absolute shithole. But then again, I can't really blame the people living here. It's people like that of Skidmark and the merchants taking advantage of them, and it's also those of the PRT and those at that of Town Hall of Brockton Bay not really doing shit to try and improve the situation here. Of course, I know the main reason why. They don't want a power influx in the city. As much as they hate it, the PRT can't move so much to the point that if they do, they lose that of certain all the gangs would be trying to pine and aim for that territory here. Places such as that of the train yard and the boat graveyard are basically key locations here in the city. Both the Empire and ABB would basically pine for this place like for nothing if the merchants are taken care of, even though they're literally the weakest gang in the entire fucking city. Oh well then. Within putting that of the mace on his shoulders, even though the Barbatos Gundam armor is basically in that of the first 3 episodes of Iron Blood Orphans, it's still useful enough to basically kill at least a normal person, after all. Within, Evan thinking, killing, huh? I never really thought I would have to kill, to be honest. It's wrong, right? Really wrong to start killing people. That's not what a hero does. Within, soon, blinking multiple times before shaking his head saying, but I'm no hero. I'm also no villain either. I'm a person basically willing to do what needs to be done to change this corrupted and self-entitled world. Heroes haven't done shit to basically curb crime ever since. And the last time I checked, this world has basically turned into nothing but a shithole. Hell, I'd rather live in the world of the Gundam Hell, I'd rather live in one of the multiversal Gundam series, if anything. Hell, I'll take Iron Blood Orphans over this godforsaken world. At least there, I'd have some opportunities to stand on my own 2 feet, instead of waddling in self-misery. If anything, killing at least a few drug dealers and pimps and grunts of the merchants here and there is no skin off my bones. I'll be doing at least the city a bit of a service. Within, tracking at least that on that of his onboard monitor system, as he's tracking at least several shady looking people, at least that's of 5 drug dealers, at least that of 3 pimps too, and several grunts going into that of a somewhat dilapidated building after all. Within realizing 8 targets and 1 building. Possibly I'll be able to get a cash stash in that building if good enough. Honestly, this would be perfect. Within soon, dropping down with that of a large clang. Within soon, people will begin wondering what the hell's going on, as many cars basically going off an alarm. Within realizing I gotta get better used to using this armor and be a little bit more quiet and stealthy. But of course, the Barbatos was not made for stealth at all. Within soon, a few that of merchant grunts wearing that of baggy basically loose clothing, with that of with many of their clothes colors ranging from that of yellow to green and mainly that of brown. With one of the grunts looking like that of a Hispanic man saying, "Hey, what the fuck you doing? You giant robot wannabe?" With then soon looking at his first victim saying, "Good, you'll do." Within the Hispanic merchant saying, "The fuck you mean I'll do?" Within, without warning, and a burst of speed so fast that the naked eye couldn't track, unless that you weren't a cape though. He was soon skewered by that of the mace, basically seeing that of the massive black light, spear-like weapon basically pierced right through his chest. Within soon, many of the grunts that did come along with the guy couldn't help but completely and utterly freak out in shock, with some of them basically pulling out their guns and firing at him. Within soon, everybody realizing that all of the gunfire is basically bouncing off of him or deflecting him, but however, they don't really care as their fear is taking over. Within soon, just basically removing that of the guy's corpse from his weapon as he soon rushes towards the other ones, as he soon basically decapitates one guy's head off that of his shoulders. A female merchant basically getting slashed in half as the mace basically is stuck in that of her body, right between that of her torso and chest, before ripping it out, killing her as well. As then soon noticing that the drug dealers have basically run off a bit, but thinking, like you idiots are gonna go, I got you locked on and close by. As then using his thruster pack and flying off, and basically flying and, well, basically gliding on the surface as well. Through that of at least that of 3 minutes, and that of 7 minutes, he was able to find the drug dealers and kill them, and also take all their drugs and stashes as well. As he's wondering how he's going to basically put them away, within soon, the system does it for him, as anything that he basically needs to be stored away would be stored away inside of his system. But realizing, oh yeah, this is going to be useful as hell. Within looking back at that of the multiple pimps, one of them basically ran off, basically farther off in that of the city district. However, 2 of them are still pretty close by. One seeing like he's still moving, but still not far away from his scans, while the other is still on that of the corner. Within thinking, pimps have their own, stashes away, unlike drug dealers that keep their shit on them. I could basically wait and corner them, but I think I can wait on that. Best chance I can get, I take a picture of what they look like now, follow them later on, probably in the next couple of days, and then soon take their shit. After that, I'll gain a lot more cash and money, with then soon thinking, but first, with soon going back to his systems once again and seeing that of the merchant base in the distance, seeing that of the really rundown building that looks like that's of a pretty rundown apartment building. However, what stands out the most is that there are tons of you can hear that of tons of shuffling, and even that of one large ass garage door on the side, with blinking multiple times, with it thinking, well, I think this must be one of Squealer's safe houses, actually. No shot. Why the hell am I not surprised? Well, whatever. Doesn't matter. I'll be getting that shit either way. Within, going straight to that of the garage, within, as he soon kicks it down with his heavy leg foot. Within, soon everybody looking at that of the white-clad mobile suit, with it, as the Barbatos's eyes glow in a menacing green. Within soon, everybody pulling out guns, pulling out guns such as that of, handguns, assault rifles, submachine guns, shotguns. Within soon, without even warning, he blitzes towards each and every one of them. Some of them still shooting, however, doesn't matter, as they're being torn to shreds by the massive black mace spear, with many of them just screaming, saying, call for backup, go Mush, go Trainwreck, go fucking Squealer, go anybody, god fucking damn it. What kind of cape is this? Are they from the fucking Empire? The ABB? What the hell? Say, could they be an undersider? Like hell, they would be a fucking undersider? What? We don't have anything we're stealing? With then soon, the one that said this was soon just basically smeared to the ground in a bloody mess. With then soon another female merchant can help but scream, I'm done with this shit. I'm out of here. It's not worth getting high if I'm going to die for it. As she soon says this. However, Evan wasn't just going to let her just run away, as he needs to at least keep some inhibiting about himself, as he soon throws that of the mace right at her, skewering her right through, as she soon just pinned on the ground, sliding down to that of the mace, With then soon realize he doesn't have a weapon anymore, but still has at least some, but he can use at least one type of weapon, as then picking up that of assault rifle, being that of a AK-47, surprisingly, but not too surprisingly, and then just unloading on everybody, not really caring on where he's firing at all, before grabbing out of a submachine gun, being a Tech 9, and still unloading on everybody as well, as now the entire warehouse is completely filled with corpses, with only some people basically whining in pain before dying from their injuries. Before then, soon, hearing that of one voice, as it seems like somebody did hide away, but then going back to his mace, removing that of the dead merchant girl, before heading straight for that of the whimpering voice, seeing that of the bloody mace in his hands. Within suit, the merchant could help but say, "Please, please don't kill me." The stash, "Where's the money and drugs?" Saying, "What? Where's the money and the drugs, and I'll let you live. I'll let you go right now if you just tell me." They're upstairs. They're upstairs. Squealer likes to keep all her shit in there. Likes to keep all her shit in her personal room. The only people that know the passcode is her and Skidmark. Within blinking multiple times behind that of his helmet, before thinking, so they really are dating. God, a woman like her could do so much better than that fucking waste of a space of a cape. Before sighing, saying, "All right, like I said, thanks to the help, you can go." Within saying, "Really?" "Yeah." Within soon stabbing him in the chest, saying, "I said I would let you go. I didn't say I would let you. I said I would let you go. I never said I wouldn't kill you." Pulling out the mace again, with soon dematerializing the mace, and then heading upstairs, within realizing, I don't think these are safe enough for me. As soon dematerializing that of the legs, and then walking up that of the staircase, as it is rickety like hell. Within, you can even see that of a fireman's pole that basically goes down to that of the garage level. Within realizing, makes sense. Still, this is unsafe as hell. Within heading into that of heading out of the safe room. Within realizing that there's a passcode on it. But then realizing, no. With soon basically stabbing right through that of the reinforced door, before fully kicking it down, as then thinking, I was expecting an explosion from somebody like her. Guess she might have been too damn high to realize to basically explode her shit in case somebody tried to steal it. That's what I expect from merchant incompetence. Looking through that of the room, basically just tearing it apart like hell, not even bothering, being subtle or anything like that. Before then, looking under that of the bed, removing the mattress, which smells like shit and smells like tons of drugs and the smell of, used sex and everything, which is a good thing that, Evan had his Barbatos helmet on, basically filtering out that of smells, and under it being that of a vault case. Before then using all of his strength of the Barbatos's weakest armor to try and rip it apart, which he ends up doing. Within couldn't help but smirk, seeing all of the money in cash and drugs inside, saying, "With this should give me at least enough points to buy more parts. Hell, if anything, I could even use this money to help out mom with bills and everything." And I just started out being a cape and I gotten this damn lucky. Talk about my big break. With basically storing everything in that of his inventory, before then before jumping down, creating out of a huge clang, before then noticing that of several cars about to pull up, with then realizing, gotta get going now. No point of basically staying here. Most likely a lot of merchants will be coming with all the noise happening, and especially with some grunts probably live by. getting out of the warehouse before then flying off. Within realizing, I should have checked if Squealer had any Tinker Tech vehicles in there. If she did, she might have had them more secure than that of the entire base itself. Oh, whatever. Doesn't matter. I got what I needed, and I can keep this shit going anyway. Sound like that of the PRT, the Empire, and ABB are gonna do anything about it. They're too busy with their own shit to basically take advantage of what I do. As he flies off, even though the Barbatos doesn't have that of long sustaining flight, it's still good enough to basically go from building to building as well. However, since that incident, a lot of merchants have now been on high alert dealing with that of Evan. Hell, even Squealer was quite pissed that her shit was basically taken. And let's just say both Trainwreck and Whirligig couldn't help but laugh at that of Squealer losing her shit so easily. Even though she didn't lose her most important thing, being that of her special-made Tinker vehicle, being that of a van that looks like a mix of a fucking tank and military-grade Humvee, which was the vehicle that Evan wanted to basically was curious about. But even so, Skidmark, on the other hand, was pissed that his shit was taken, especially given the fact that this bastard also killed his drug dealers, basically taken away from his score and his drugs, which made Evan on their shit list. However, good thing that he kills. However, surprisingly, some people did notice him in his white and that of his Barbatos armor after all. But honestly, it's not like it matters, to be honest. Who said when he comes back to the merchants, he would be in that of the armor of the Barbatos. For the past few months leading up to that of the 5th month, he was able to basically take quite a bit of shit from the merchants, from that of the drug dealers, the pimps, and even that's from not just Squealer, but also from that of Mush and Whirligig shit too. A few of the other gangs, such as that of the ABB and that of the Empire, were try to use this opportunity of the merchants' disarray to take advantage. However, given that Squealer, again, their basically most important cape and her Tinker vehicles were basically the thing keeping the other gangs at bay. Let's just say, even with that little hiccup here and there, they're still not to be messed. The merchants are still not a gang to be messed with. Especially since it's only one person and their incompetence and stupidity, why not take advantage of it after all? Since that little heist, he was able to gain at least enough points to buy at least to buy his first Gunpla kit. However, he can only gain that of mass-produced Gunplas, unfortunately, at least for now. But not only that, he was able to deal with that of certain other crimes around that of the city besides just fucking with that of the merchants. He took care of some bank robberies here and there, a few muggings too, and even some hate crimes by that of the Empire too, by the Empires as well. Or when it came to dealing with the Empire gangs, well, let's just say he held nothing back. Unlike with the merchants, where he basically killed them mercifully. Evan, on the other hand, he takes pleasure in killing Empire capes. Since it was the Empire that took his father away from him. It was the Empire that fractured his family. It was the Empire that basically gave him this power. Part of him is thankful for that, but the other part of him will never forgive them for basically for turning his life around, both for the best and for the worst. If he ever gets his hand on a cape, on the other hand, let's just say he's willing to do some pretty fucked up shit to them. As for his new hideout, with the cash that he was stealing from that of the merchants over for the past couple of months, he was able to refurbish, buy, and basically build equipment that he would need for his new hideout. After all, again, good thing that the abandoned garage building that he used is basically out of sight from out of the public in the boardwalk. If he wasn't, let's just say a lot of people would still basically need. However, Realizing that he can't just rely on his main base, he needs to buy at least several other territories, and in that of the other gang territories as well. Since he has one here in the boardwalk being PRT territory, all he needs is at least that of 3 more within Merchant, ABB, and Empire territory as well. Empire and Merchant territory won't be too so hard to get after all. However, as for that of ABB territory, well, when you have a gang that's basically called the Asian Bad Boys, yeah, it's stupid, right? It's not going to be easy to when your locations are normally in out of district areas where that of the Asian population of Brockton Bay, ranging from Japanese, Chinese, Korean, Vietnamese, and Taiwan as well. Being somebody who was basically a quarter Japanese from his father's side, who was basically half Japanese and half Caucasian, it's not going to be so easy after all. But he'll think of something. However, during this time, he was able to finally create his first custom-made Gundam suit. His first Gunpla suit. As this Gunpla was basically not really, flashy or over the top. It's mainly just a long-range, fully, arsenal Gundam. Its main weapons are that of 6 Gatling guns, 2 on the arms, on both the left and right arm, and 1 on the back as well. The parts making it come from that of the Gundam Guchin, with the head, the body being that of the dual Gundam Assault Shroud armor. The arms are also part of the dual Gundam alongside the legs too. The dual Gundam is not really much of a flashy mobile suit, especially given that he read about it during his little binge lore read before he started doing his cape thing. But surprisingly, it is good. It is surprisingly good in both mobility and defense after all. So of course, a mobile suit that can basically has that of both mobility and defense, not half bad. However, the backpack, on the other hand, is using that parts from that of the Yakushiki, from that of Evan's point of view, from the best Gundam series of all time, Zeta Gundam. But that of his main range weapon is that of twin beam high power beam rifles, while the swords are basically twin anti-ship swords, as this Gundam would be known as the VR-0124 Zandu Gundam, a mid-range, full arsenal mobile suit. As the first time using this Gundam, let's just say it was easier said than done. When he used that of the Zandu Gundam against that of regular capes from that of the merchants, let's just say he ended up destroying an entire building with only with that of the armed Gatling guns alone. Thankfully, the building that he destroyed was a merchant base after all, so he didn't kill any innocent people after all. So hey, good silver lining on that. However, it did end up getting the attention of one of the capes, that being Trainwreck. And looking at the cape, basically a guy that's basically covered in nothing but metal equipment, and basically makes him look like that of a discounted Transformer after all. Not really much of a problem for that of Evan after all. Using his Gatling guns against Trainwreck, it basically tore apart his armor without even breaking a sweat. Bullets alone would basically bounce off his armor after all. And not only that, he also has that of a brute rating, which gives him that of strong durability. But the bullets from that of the Zandu Gundam basically shredded him. It didn't kill him, surprisingly, but at least enough to basically made him bleed out quite a bit, allowing Gene to basically get away. Since then, Gene has been on that of the shit list of all of the merchants, and Skidmark has basically called ahead on him. However, they don't know that people think that the Gundams are basically separate people, not the same ones all over. Not only that, he almost had to deal with that of Squealer in one of her souped up, Tinker vehicles after all. And the first time dealing with it, basically nearly killed the guy. Luckily, his weaponry is nothing to scoff out to, and was able to basically knock it out of commission for at least a good while or so. But after that, he has to deal with the merchants. He needs to take away their biggest, heavy hitter and their biggest source of success, and the reason why they're still a threat to this day. That being Squealer. Either he needs to kill her, or basically, he has another idea, possibly the one that he wants to try the best: recruit her. Rumor has it that several capes and out of the gangs were either forced into joining them, or basically had no other choice but to join them. The number one poster child of forced recruitment into a gang was Squealer. If he's able to basically get her out of the merchants and find a way to basically, heal her from that of her drug addiction, given that she's literally used as she's basically suffering from tons of withdrawal and also being used as the merchant's personal, sex toy after all, he may be able to basically make more and more powerful Gundams. Not only that, he'll at least have somebody that he knows he can trust helping him out in this whole entire mission and job. As much as he wants to do this by himself, he knows he can't do it all on his own lonesome. The best thing to do that is to find a way to basically help her through her withdrawals and her trauma as well. And he knows the perfect Gundams that are able to do so all at once. The only downside is how expensive it is to basically make them. At least until then, he'll still be doing what he normally needs to do. But now, he's able to make that of his second custom-made Gunpla suit. This being the one that he'll debut in, the one that he'll make his presence all across the city known to that of the public, and to every gang alone. Some have seen him in the shadows, while some now see him for who he is. Hell, PHO basically talks about him and his Gunpla suits and his Gundam suits all the time, actually. Some call that of the Barbertail suit, that of the Horn White Devil. He even has that of the Gundam ground type, actually, to help him deal with that of, to help him mainly fight in that of close quarters combat after all. And to also have that of one powerful ass cannon on his side too. Surprisingly, they call it the Commando because of that. Ironically, the name kind of fits given that the ground type Gundams were made for infantry and commando like combat after all. And the other one that took him a while to get used to was one that, which gave him at least a lot more mobility across the city now. That being the O Gundam, which I just found out was just literally the original RX-71 Gundam. Just with that, just replace the backpack with that of with a GN drive, and you basically just got the same damn thing. But he's not complaining; it's still useful. With all these extra Gundams all in his kit, alongside that of his own personal Gundam, and him basically cleaning out the city of gangsters as well. Sooner or later, he's going to be tracked down, and people are going to realize that he is the same person. Not only that, those on PHO, basically the para-human online forum sites, and basically the social media of this world, has already called him that of a pretty damn scary vigilante, that he hesitates on not killing people, that he's basically a monster, that he's no different from the villains. However, some people have sang his praises that he's protected so many people, gotten rid of so many filth from that of the merchant side after all, even protected many people from that of the ABB and the Empire as well, especially from the Empire. PHO hasn't released a response just yet, but thanks to Bagrat, they don't need to because they already have the information that they need, at least for now. But today, the world will know who Gundam truly is. As on that of his systems, he's already finishing up his secondary Gunpla suit. With this, I should be able to finally put finally show what I'm truly capable of. Good thing that I got the function that allowed me to just buy the parts I need instead of buying the entire kits as a whole like before. Seriously, that was one annoying as time. As for the other custom Gundams I'm working on, luckily I'm already able to fix up at least one of them, the one that I need to recruit Squealer after all. Looking at that of a Gundam that's still not fully finished yet, as it only has the legs, the body, and the head, as it looks like that of the Unicorn Gundam's parts, but still missing the arms and the backpack. With then soon, but still finishing up his latest Gundam, is then it's now fully completed, saying, "All right, this finishes it now." As now the Gundam is now fully together. Within it's saying, "Name." This is the next step of my phase, my plan to change this world. The next Gundam. With now finishing the name, is then raising up his hand, he materializes the next Gundam right in front of him, as his suits are still taller than him. With now seeing what the materials it was made out of, being the head of the Lightning Gundam, the arms of the Strike Freedom Gundam, with that of its beam energy shield and all, the legs of the Burning Gundam, the backpack being the Stargazer Gundam's backpack. As for its main weapons, its main melee weapon is that of the Barbatos Gundam's longsword, basically a long katana, and its main long-range weapon being the Lightning Gundam's sniper beam rifle, as this Gundam was made to be an all-rounder, to make up for that of both long-range, close-range, mid-range as well. And its speed is nothing to scoff at too, especially given that it has that of a full-on float system that allows it to fly in the air with no problems whatsoever. With now, he couldn't help but have that of a smirk, as Evan couldn't help but say, you will be the one. You will basically show the world what I'm capable of next. Let's do this together. With then soon going through that of going through his systems, as it gives him a notification alert that the PRT is now in combat with those of the Empire, as Room, Storm Tiger, and Hookwolf are fighting against that of two members of the wards, being Shadowstalker, Aegis, and PRT capes such as Armsmaster and Miss Militia. Within hearing this, saying, is there a transport again? Within looking back at the notification, as it looks like that there wasn't an Empire cape being taken in again. This is just that. Turns out Shadowstalker was basically doing one of her illegal patrols again, instead of basically running it by that of the PRT once more. She ended up getting caught. Aegis, alongside that of Armsmaster and Miss Militia, ended up having to back them up, which soon turned into that of a full-on brawl between that of the Empire capes and the PRT capes. Seems like there are also some, Empire members as well, and the Grunts trying to help out too. But then hearing this, saying, "Perfect, I'll do this." And not only that, if I get a chance to kill at least one or two of the Empire's capes, hell, I even would be happy killing Hookwolf of all people as well to do so. This is going to be great. You ready to fly next? As even though the next Gundam can't speak or even say anything, he could feel it through the system that the next Gundam is ready to fight, ready to show what it's capable of for Evan. Within getting inside, dematerializing that of the next Gundam before rematerializing it around his body, as it fits snugly around him, giving him the extra heights, just like wearing all his other Gundam suits is like as well. But then soon having that of the heads-up display and everything show in front of him, as then soon raising up that of the garage door shutters, within finally walking out, as then couldn't help but say, let's do this. As then soon the repulsion system around that of the next Gundam soon begins to fly up. Before then, he soon goes far into the distance, flying high up into the sky, and then heading to where the battle is. As then saying, "Let's do this! Next Gundam!" With that determined cry, as the blue eyes of the next Gundam gleam in that of the night sky. With that, back in the battle, as you can hear that's a tons of destruction basically flying everywhere, as that's of a large metal-like wolf-like figure, this being one of the Empire's strongest capes, Hook Wolf, basically trying to slice through that of Armsmaster, as Armsmaster blocking each and every one of Hook Wolf's attacks with that of his halberd, trying to keep his distance while also at least trying to keep him focused on him alone as well, not wanting him to hurt any of the wards. Speaking of the wards, Shadowstalker, as she's basically wearing that of a black and purplish cloak, as covering her face, being that of a white female mask, as she jumps around using that of her powers to basically turn into that of Shadows itself, while also using that of her trusty crossbow to try and hit that of Rune. However, Rune, who is that of a young woman that looks like at least that of in high school actually, as she had wearing that of a green dress robe, with that of a dress pattern that looks like that of Rune, that looks like that of crystallized stones around her waist, as she also having that of a green visor mask, and covering her head being that of a green hood, as she's basically floating around on that of a trash can lid, before using that of the concrete to basically block away each and every one of the crossbow shots. As she couldn't help but say, "Well, I shouldn't basically expect anything less from that of from a monkey woman like you, after all." And Shadowstalker could come up and say, "Seriously? Trying this race superiority bullshit, bitch? At least I'm not on a goddamn trash can, you piece of trash. You racist trash." With then, soon, Rune getting annoyed at that, with then sending more and more debris. Before, however, somebody basically taking the hits for her and knocking back the debris without even breaking a sweat. This being Aegis, as he's wearing that of a full-on red uniform, as he's quite strong, well-built as well, as the only thing you could see is his eyes and a bit of his skin through that of the bridge of his nose, after all, saying, "Stop trying to antagonize them, Shadowstalker. Don't let them get to you. And seriously, wouldn't be in this mess if it wasn't for you anyway." Saying, "Oh yeah, piss off." As the two still having this conversation, within soon a blast of wind heads straight for them, knocking them both back. However, Shadowstalker turns into that of Shadows, getting out of the blast of winds. However, Aegis standing back on his feet while still getting hit by the winds itself. As this being from Storm Tiger, basically a pretty well-built young man, with that basically wearing that of nothing but wearing that of combat boots, blue jean pants, and basically shirtless, and also just having that of a white tiger mask over his face. With then saying, "It's seriously, arrogance like that is the reason on why you fools can't beat the Empire. You should know your place, got it?" With then, soon, and amping up that of the winds, before then, soon, Aegis trying his best to hold his ground and get closer and closer, as the Aegis can help but think, "Damn it, I'm not going to get anywhere near him. If I just had a little bit more strength to handle winds like this, then..." With then soon, without warning, a trash can, basically another destroyed car, was about to slam into that of Aegis, as he's about to get hit by that of both the winds and the car itself. Before then, the car explodes from a beam shot. Within, soon, everybody's completely shocked and surprised, with Rune saying, "What the hell? How did that explode entirely? It was already on fire, so..." Within, soon, without warning, Storm Tiger's legs were also blown out by that of a beam shot as well, as he's now gone to his knees entirely with his legs basically bleeding out, saying, what the fuck? What the hell was that? With then soon Rune covering up that of Storm Tiger with that of a few debris around them. Within soon, she wondering, what's happened? Within soon, without warning, just by pure and utter instinct, she dodges out of the way, as then soon her left arm was completely and utterly cut off entirely by another beam shot. Within, she screams in complete and total agony and pain before losing consciousness from the pain and falling to the ground. As then soon, both Aegis couldn't help but look completely and utterly shocked, wondering what's going on, as even that of Shadowstalker, who was trying to get back on her feet as well, couldn't help but wonder, who's doing this? As then Hookwolf and Arnsmaster stopped fighting as well, with then Hookwolf saying, "What the fuck? Storm Tiger! Rune, what the hell? Who the hell has the balls to?" Without warning, Hookwolf was basically consumed in that of electricity, as he soon screamed in that of agony and pain. As then soon, Arnsmaster looking up, within seeing the figure, saying, wait, a tinker? A power suit tinker? A tinker power suit? As the electricity could still consume, coming from that of a blue light gauntlet off of that of the next Gundam. As this being an IF booster that basically sends highly condensed electromagnetic waves that can affect not just that of, electricity, but also people's body as well, as it's affecting that of Hookwolf, whose entire body is completely composed of metal due to his brute and changer rating after all, with then soon lowering down before then bringing out that of his longsword katana, as soon he stops the electrifying assault. But then soon Hookwolf looking back up, basically looking as his whole entire armor is now completely and utterly smoked, saying, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" Pointing the long sword at that of Hookwolf, saying, "Your reckoning, Hookwolf. I'll let you know here and today. The Empire, the ABB, the merchants are all going to be even Coil, and even the outsiders, if they get in my way, are all going to die today, are all going to die from now on. Because I, Gundam, the cape that has been wearing armor suits all across Brockton Bay, has now declared war on all the gangs here. I'm going to destroy each and every one of you, no matter what it takes. This I swear." With then soon, GN particles began to erupt all across that of the next Gundam, on both the right and left side. With then soon, they could feel a pressure in the air. Even Arnsmaster couldn't help but feel this pressure as well, as this would be the start of a new age for Brockton and the world. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this chapter? Honestly, this was mainly on how, Evan basically started to get his start and how he's able to make his new custom-made Gunplas after all. And I know originally I was going to say that he can only make custom-made Gunplas and he can't wear the suits himself besides other people. Yeah, I kind of realized that would be way too difficult if he tried doing them by himself without the Gunplas. And I know originally I was trying to nerf him, but when I came back to it, it kind of became annoying. Became annoying because it would be tedious and annoying on how much he would need to try to improve and gain enough points just to make his first custom model. And especially if it had to be done by that of a, mass-produced models, which are fucking annoying. It's not hard to make a mass-produced model that could work. It's just, and knowing that he would be going against people who could probably wreck him in that model. So yeah, any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification to keep to date my videos when I upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, Patreon, other channel, Cash App, and all linked in the description below. So with all that said, this is Yamuki, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care.